Hello and welcome back to the Jessica Pinili podcast. In today's episode, we are going to talk about how you can be productive as fuck. Now, I'm not going to give you a bunch of tools and things to go and do that you're probably not going to do. I have listened, watched, read so many productivity hacks, tips, etc. I'm going to break it down so simple because I feel like over the past few years, honestly, maybe even closer to a decade, productivity and myself have had this push pull relationship. And I feel that I have really refined how to be productive over the past year and a half. And I'm going to break down the most simplest way. I've got it here on my laptop. The simplest way to do it, and then things that you need to factor in. I only give you the things that I do as well. I practice what I preach. And so I just want you to know I've done this. I've tested it. I've trialed it. If you pull everything into what you need to factor into the system, I guess you could say, that I'm going to give you, and action it properly, not just half-heartedly, properly, you will feel more productive. Now, of course, life is going to life. I say this to the members inside Woman Mastery HQ membership. Life will happen. Things will get in the way. Before this, I just filmed 4 YouTube videos, but I wanted to start at 11:30 a.m. I started at like 12:45. Do you know why? Because I had like an hour and a bit of technical difficulties that still isn't resolved. I actually need to figure that out sometime this week because it's important. But I was like, I could keep sitting here, keep getting in a bad mood, but I need to get something done. And so I understand life will get in a way. This isn't about always aiming to be the most productive 110% person for the rest of your life every single day. That's just not possible. And to be quite honest with you, that just sounds exhausting. But I want you to look at productivity, and this is what I have been doing over the past, let's say, probably 2 years, is just having a better relationship with how I perceive productivity. And I am someone where I really resonate with the mentality all or nothing. Okay. So I get it. I get it. Certain things, I'm still like that. But I think when it comes to productivity, I see it as a tool to be able to get me closer to my long term vision. And I'm going to speak a little bit more on that soon. But I want you to just develop your relationship with productivity and what it really means to you and how you see it. Why do you want to be productive? That, like, it may seem like such a simple question, and maybe the answer is like, because I want to achieve this or I want to get shit done, which, yeah, me too. I want to get shit done. But I think, and I've been having this conversation a lot recently, is we need to come back to our why. We need to come back to the purpose of why we are doing things, of why we invest in things, of why we put time and energy into things. It's so easy to get caught up in the fantasy of what something could be. It's so easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing. It's so easy to get caught up in what we think is the right choice. But maybe it's time to take more time to connect back to what we actually, why we are actually doing something. So redefine why you want to be productive, what it actually means to you. What are your toxic traits right now around productivity? That's important to note. And I don't want you to see this as something that is going to push you to burnout. I don't want you to see this as something that is going to push you into resenting what you're creating in your life, your business, your career, your health, your money. I want you to see it as a tool. And the system that I've been using, that is so simple, I promise you, is going to help do that. So basically, I want you to work in quarters. I have been working in quarters for years, but utilizing what I'm about to tell you for the past year and a half. Quarters is just easy because it breaks down. I was the type of person that it would be New Year's Eve and I would write this long list of everything that I was going to achieve in the new year. I probably achieved a tenth on what was on that list. And then you get into this shame cycle where you tell yourself, see, I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, or I we'll never achieve what I really want to achieve. It's just too hard. And then we justify why we can't do it. And it's just this cycle. No, let's get out of that. So instead, let's break down what we want to achieve, our goals, which is what we are trying to be productive towards because we want to change our life. We want to change the amount of money we're making. We want to change the success that we are currently experiencing, attract different opportunities. Break it down into quarters, 90 days. If you're listening to this now, what's the date? It's October 14th, right? We're in the last quarter of the year. You can still action this. Action it whenever, but action it. Next 90 days. What is the plan for the 90 days? What are the goals that you actually want to achieve? Now, I always say with goals, and remember, we're looking at the next 90 days, not the rest of your life. But with goals, you want them to be realistic but stretch you. For example, if you right now are making, and yes, anything's possible, there's nuance to what I'm about to say, but let me explain. Let's say right now consistently you're making $20,000 months. Realistic, but a stretch goal might be, I want to have recurring income to now increase to $35,000. A bit of an unrealistic, if you are at 20K right now, might be, okay, in the next 90 days, I have a goal of making consistently $100,000 months. Is it possible? Yes. Like I said, there's nuance to everything. Everything is possible in the quantum field. We know that. But we also want to set ourselves up for success, but where it stretches us a bit, where it's like, oh, that's big, that's scary, but it also excites you. It inspires you. So break it down for the 90 days. I wouldn't do more than 6 goals, if I'm honest. Different areas of life. Think of it like 2 goals a month, even less. But these 2 big goals, and to consider what is your long-term vision over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It needs to feed into that. Don't just be making goals and what you want to achieve in the next 90 days if it's not compounding into your long-term vision. And if you're like, I don't have a long-term vision, well, that's probably the first thing that you need to do. Long-term vision, 90 days, next 90 days. And obviously, if we're starting at the beginning of the year, you want to increment. You don't want to be repeating the same things in 90 days. And if you are, you're probably not stretching yourself enough. Plus, there's a capacity issue. Plus, does it even really inspire you? My camera died, so forgive me if I repeat something, but I think I was just saying, don't overload yourself with goals in the 90 days. They need to be high priority. They need to compound up to your long-term vision. Now, from there, to be productive as fuck, is we need to break that down into the months. What does the month look like? This is why I say no more than 6 goals per 90 days, because you can easily break that down into 2 goals per month, which compounds to your bigger 90-day goal, to your long-term vision. So if we're breaking that down into now, let's look at the month. If we have 2 goals per month, you can even do 1 goal per month. What do those 2 goals look like in the month? Choose them, select them as an extension. Think of everything, like let's say, okay, I just realized that there's going to be some of you listening to this and not all viewing this, but on YouTube, you can see what I'm doing. But basically, my hand is above my head and I'm saying, imagine that's your 90 days and then we're working down, okay? So you've got your 90 days, you've got your goals in there of what you're working towards. Then you're breaking it down into the 3 different months. Make it easy for yourself. 1 to 2 goals per month, but those goals are an extension of your 90-day goals. So again, going with the example, let's say you want to make $35,000 by the end of the 90 days, like that's what you want to hit. What would that look like when it comes to goals or your intentions in the first month? Break it down. Then we are going to break it down even more into each week. What are your systems and your structure? And I'll explain this in a moment. Each week, and then, you guessed it, each day. So how does this make us be as productive as we possibly can? Because now we can get very tangible and we can create systems and structure around what we are actually achieving. So instead of saying, by the end of the 90 days, I want to hit $30,000, we are now looking at day, week, month, 90 days, systems. What do systems look like? I'll do a different example. Let's say by the end of the 90 days, you want to lose 10 kilos. How would we break that down to create systems? Well, the system looks like I am doing weight training 5 times per week. I am eating 150 grams of protein per day. I am getting minimum 8 hours sleep at least 5 times a week. See how I've broken it down even more? But the reason that it's going to help you is if you are breaking it down by month, by week, by day, you are then able to track. Most people don't feel productive or aren't in fact productive because they just do busy work. They do the things that don't matter, the low priority. You need to prioritize the things that are actually moving the needle every day, every week, every month, every quarter. And so now when we make it super tangible and we're breaking down exactly what that looks like, the action, the behaviors, the patterns, the new cycles we're creating, that's when we are productive instead of doing anything but working towards what we want to do. It's like if you have a goal to do something in business that you know is going to move the needle, and then you find yourself all day clearing up your Google Drive. Busy work. Of course, you don't feel productive. You were just keeping yourself mindlessly busy. So as I'm speaking this, like I said, it's so simple, but you're also going to come up with some resistance because it's brand new, like we do with anything brand new. Considerations that I've written down here. Number 1, for the month, for the weeks, learn your energy. As a female, I understand when I'm ovulating, when I'm in my luteal phase, when I'm on my period, and I do different things in my life and business according to that. For example, I do the bulk of my recording of content when I'm ovulating. That is a productivity hack, peak productivity hack. Learn your energy, but then make it even more micro. I know that Monday to Wednesday, I'm far more switched on for calls, for client work, for anything to do with business admin, life admin that needs to be actioned. I know as I taper to the end of the week, especially a Friday, if I have to work on a Friday, I only want to do the fun stuff. I want to do the stuff that I don't have to be at my desk switched on because I know my energy. Whereas I know some business owners, they do all their CEO admin stuff on a Friday. That's when they feel more inspired to do it. There is no right or wrong, but it's about, and I say this to all of my clients, learn your energy throughout the weeks, throughout the days, morning, night. What does it look like for you? That is a consideration, and it's real. And it's something, all these things I'm giving you are so simple. And they're simple enough to bypass, but don't bypass them. Track your energy. Track how you are throughout the month and what it looks like. Do you get the most creative flow and energy on a Wednesday afternoon? Or is it better for you to actually be doing your editing or your admin then? And your creative flow happens on a Monday morning. For me, I don't do any calls on a Monday because I'm the most switched on for my week to actually work on the business, not in the business. And I've learned that about myself. I've tried to do it differently, or I've had to do it differently sometimes, and it doesn't work for me. Learn yourself, learn your energy. Second consideration, what is your season of life? I think it was the last episode I spoke about seasons of life. I've spoken about it a lot lately because it's important. Where are you at? Are you in a growth phase? Are you in a grind phase? Use whatever labels suits you and you resonate with. But where are you at in life? What is the season you are in? Maybe every quarter is a different season. I feel like the second half of the year, so quarter 3 and quarter 4 for me, grind season. Start of the year, I wouldn't call it like a slow season, but definitely not grind, switched on, go, go, go. But you lean into that energy as well. And you can create your intentions, what you're working to be productive towards in a certain manner because you know what season of life you're in. You know where you're heading. Why would you try to be the most, in quotation marks, productive and get everything done if you've decided that you're in a slow down, introspective season. You just wouldn't. It doesn't make sense. Consider your season of life. Consideration number 3, I've already brought this up, long-term vision. If you don't have a long-term vision, at least in the next 2 to 5 years, sit down. Do something to bring it out of you. You don't need to have every single detail. I don't have every single detail, but also I'm so open for the flexibility of how it can change, how I can adapt. I have rooted goals that I know that inspires me right now in life of what I'm working towards. But like I said, it doesn't mean that I have every single thing worked out to a T. You have to adapt. You have to be flexible. But it's also important to live this life with a vision and not just aimlessly go through life. This is, again, why people create busy work. They don't have direction. They don't create direction. Don't be that person. Don't sit in the mass mentality. Create direction for yourself. Give yourself the spaciousness to envision what you want to create, where you want to be in life, even if it scares you. And it should, because that's stretching you. I have goals that scare the hell out of me, but they also inspire me. They also feel like, yes, that's stretchy. And what am I going to do to get there? But I know I can. That's about really a self-trust and intuitive thing. Building the self-trust to allow yourself to lean into what you want to create in your life. And then the last consideration, set yourself up for success. Being productive is breaking it down, as I've explained, so you don't feel like you have to leap every single day and every single minute. I've tried that. I've tried to go from 0 to 100, all or nothing mentality. It does not serve anyone, because then you feel like you're falling so far down that it almost feels impossible to get back up. And so to avoid that, think of how can I set myself up for success? So breaking it down like we have today. Number 2, being able to create ways in your life that you are going to reach and put these systems into place. Don't say that you are going to weight train 5 times a week and you haven't even purchased a gym membership, or you don't have gym equipment at your house. What are the things right now? This is a bit of a reflection question. What are the things right now that you can think of that you need to actually put into place to set yourself up for success? I'll give you an example that I just thought of for me. I am a very visual person. I'm a type A. I need to see things out visually. I need to see them on my laptop. And so for me to set myself up for success, I had to create some type of system to track my income, my expenses, to see my money, to manage my money. I can't just write it down or check my bank account each week and hope for the best. I needed to set myself up in a way that made sense for me. That took a little bit to see what worked for me, but would also move me to want to use it. You need to create systems for yourself that you want to do. Again, is there going to be a little bit of a stretch there where it feels uncomfortable? Yes, of course. And you have to develop the habit. It's all about stacking different habits and developing them, of course. But what's important is you do it in a way that makes sense for you and your brain. I really, really doubled down on that this year, on learning different elements of my business and my life and how can I systemize it that's inspiring, that I'm actually going to use, that I'm actually going to follow. And if it doesn't work the first time, great. I'm getting feedback. I'm going over it again and I'm understanding what's going to work. A couple of things just randomly, what I'll add in here. I have spoken about this on the podcast for years, but Google Calendar, if it's not in my Google Calendar, it is not happening. I love it. I love it better than Apple Calendar. Would it be more convenient if I used Apple Calendar on my iPhone? Maybe, probably a little bit, but I just love the way Google Calendar is set out, especially on desktop. I've set it up to work for me, not against me, and to make sure that I'm always checking it. Like I have to look at my Google Calendar every day. It's also connected as a widget on my phone on the front screen, not like my front screen, but when I unlock my phone, the first screen. What else do I use? Notion. I have started to really develop my knowledge around Notion this year, and I love it. It's a learning curve. And I have used other things like Trello, Asana, etc. But I love the visual aspect. I have learned what works for me. I have developed different things. Like, let me get it up right now. I have a personal dashboard that I've made. In this dashboard, I link it to the membership, the community, my action points for each day, financial assets. So that links to my Google Sheets that I've created to track my expenses. I have got all of the podcasts, planning, prep, notes, my YouTube channel, again, planning, prep, notes. I've got my content planner. I created a dashboard for the members in Woman Mastery HQ membership. We are currently on week 2 of the content challenge. If you want to join us, link in the description below. It is a fun challenge. I am doing it with the members because I practice what I preach. What else have I got? I've got my private client dashboard attached. I've got my offer suite for business, what that looks like, price points, the offer line, the solution to the problem I'm solving for that offer. And then I've got all my funnel stuff, anything when it comes to my emails, landing pages, etc. I look at this every day now, and it took me a bit to develop, but it's such a fun desktop that I have. So Notion, what else do I use? Google Drive for everything, Google Docs for everything, Google Sheets, I mentioned that. Other things that help me. Nothing I can think of right now. I think those are definitely the main things. I am actually starting to set up on the iPhone, there's the Shortcuts app where you can set up automations, reminders, etc. I'm in the process of doing that and really systemizing and making things easier for my brain and my productivity levels. Like I said, it's not about doing the most or putting more. It's about how can I learn the things that help me, my brain, the way that I take on board, the way that I move, what inspires me to make it easier. Every day at 12 p.m., I get a text from myself as an automation to remind me to do my EFT tapping sequence. That's 5 minutes. Every day I get that and it comes through. And so productivity and how to be as productive as fuck as you possibly can be is break things down like I explained. Understand your season of life, your long-term vision, your energy levels. Now, a few other things that I just want to mention. Let me look at my notes. Oh, have I said everything? I've said everything. I've ticked it all off. I hope this has helped you. I don't want you to see productivity as this thing that you have to constantly work towards. It becomes you. This is capacity, right? It becomes your new normal. Things that I'm doing now, I was not doing this time last year. In fact, this time last year, I probably would have looked at and been like, oh my God, that's too overwhelming. I can't do that. And get too overwhelmed. No, you set yourself up for success. That's really how I want you to see productivity. And success isn't always these giant leaps. It's 1% of messy, inspired action every single day. I promise, break down your quarter into months, into weeks, into days. The systems you need. Don't overwhelm or overload yourself. If you technically are reaching 2 goals in the month and you're breaking down how that looks in a week and then in a day, that's not overwhelming. That gets the needle moving. So by the 90 days, you've achieved your goals and you're moving on to the next and you can break it down even more. And even if you haven't hit that goal or it changed slightly, great, feedback. It's not failure. It's always feedback. And it allows you to audit what you are doing. Am I doing the things that are high priority? Am I doing the things in my systems that are actually getting me there? Or every week, am I repeating the same things that aren't helpful? It's great to reflect back on. I think one thing that has helped me with my productivity levels is every Sunday, whether I now voice message, ChatGPT, and I have a chat that just keeps everything in there. Write it in my phone notes, or if I can't be bothered doing that, as I'm laying down on a Sunday, relaxing, I'll just think, what did I do really well and what I didn't? And make sure that you actually get honest with yourself. Because if every week you are repeating the same thing, having the same conversations with yourself, repeating the same behaviors, then you need to look at, okay, I'm trying to jump and leap way too far. Stop doing that. I hope this episode has helped. Ugh, I can't speak. I hope this episode has helped. You can tell this is my 5th long form video that I have filmed today. And I'm like, okay, you can probably hear it in my voice. So sorry if my voice is a little bit crackly in this episode. I'm ready for a break. I think, what is it? It's 3:30. I've been filming for like 5 hours straight. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know in the comments below on YouTube your biggest takeaway, what you were going to work on. And if you were listening on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you tune in, slide into my DMs. Say hello. I love speaking to you guys. Tag me in your stories when you listen. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.